Thank you for watching this short video on Franciscan spirituality and its relevance for global peace in a world that seems to be turning itself against one another. St. Francis, as you know, was a man of peace. He was a spiritual emissary of God who demonstrated peace. And we know from his prayer of peace and the Canticle of the Creatures, you can't but help fall in love with the man. But what has this 13th century mystic, poet, what does he have to say to us about the situation in the world today? If he was alive today, I wonder what he would be saying, what he would be doing. I guess he would be in the heart of Brussels, sorting out the conflicts that are the byproduct of man's greed, man's inhumanity to man, where countries are at war with one another, where religion, yes, religion, is destroying God's children. Look at Islam, the leaders who profess to be Islamic, devout Muslim, and yet they destroy God's children. And it's the same within the Christian family and within all the world religions. You have those who are the leaders, the doers, and those who follow their leader. But you have representatives of God abusing God's position of trust, manipulating it for their own ego. And we've seen this in history. We've seen it in recent times. You only have to switch on the television, and there you see the abuses being carried out by devout men and women of God. And though we forgive, we must not fall into the trap where we compromise our integrity. And we must learn from the great masters like Buddha, Krishna, Vishnu, Ganesh, Jesus, Francis, the great Teresa of Avila. It is my belief that in every generation, God raises up an ordinary man and woman who has a simple message. It's the same message: return to love. Within the Teo community, set up by St. Francis in 2008, we are ordinary men and women. We are brothers and sisters who come together each day online for morning and evening prayer. We don't have to, but we do. And then we gather at 9 o'clock London time for a peace vigil dedicated to Mother Earth, sending love, light and blessing to Jerusalem, the birthplace of the Abrahamic faith, where there is so much conflict. And it's also the heart chakra of the world. And because Jerusalem, the birthplace of the Abrahamic faith, is in such turmoil, we only again have to look at the news and see what's happening between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Why? And it's all over land that we don't own. Land that was given to us in custody, in safekeeping by God, but not to destroy lives for the sake of protecting something that isn't ours. It's on loan and it is to share. Within the Teo community, we try to live by that simple rule of Francis, by incorporating Franciscan spirituality in our daily service to all God's children, whether they're Catholic, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, or a non-believer, whether they're gay, straight, bisexual, disabled, widowed, divorced. Those issues do not come into this. Franciscan spirituality allows us to embrace religious diversity without compromising one's spiritual values. as we search for lasting peace. And in our search for lasting peace, we hope, with God's help, that we demonstrate that reconciliation process in how we conduct ourselves in divine service. And Franciscan spirituality is a new concept of sharing God's love through a common sensed approach of putting practical religious spirituality into positive action for all who are seeking peace, where mutual respect is essential for the integration of all beliefs. And as the founder of the Teo community, I take great heart when I see brothers and sisters of different faiths come and join us for our peace vigil and share with us the wisdom and the teachings of those great spiritual masters, Rumi, Buddha, Confucius, Meister Eckhart, Jesus, Sri Chinmoy. There are so many, and yet we're only touching the tip of the iceberg. So how does Franciscan spirituality inspire our hearts in this modern world, this beautiful world, to get back to simplicity? Very simply, surrender the heart. Surrender the heart to a monotheistic God of love. It's not too late. And the world is in crisis. Mankind is governed by fear. Mankind is fear-driven by the media. I mean, you only have to turn on that TV set, and each day there is another fear. The media thrive on fear. Franciscan spirituality eradicates fear. How? By instilling within the mind and the heart that as a child of God, I have no fear. And there can be no fear if we have surrendered our heart to love, God's love. And Francis left us a legacy, a blueprint, where we can become spiritual Olympians in the 21st century. You're probably saying, oh no, not me. No, this is too much for a monk or a nun. But you know, I believe that if you can say to me you love God, then within your soul's DNA there is a monk, a nun, craving divine love. But if you're craving a political correctness, if you're craving an egotistical lifestyle, if you're craving that your point of view matters and that you will run roughshod over everybody who dares to question you, then you're in fear. When you surrender your heart, like Francis did, like Clare, and the thousands of men and women like him from the 13th century right to the present day, if you can truthfully put your hand on your heart and say, what was it that inspired them? What is it that this world needs today? If you can answer that, then you're on your way to being an ambassador of peace. The world doesn't know peace. The world will never know peace because it's fractured by man's greed, by man's inflicted woundedness. I know we have to look at it on a small scale, and I would say look at your own family. Within every family we have our own personalities where we get on and some don't get on. We have the black sheep. So if a family is in crisis, then on a bigger scale in the global village, that's in crisis, but we can resolve that. by becoming ambassadors of peace, by becoming a people set apart to praise God through prayer. And that doesn't involve joining a nunnery or a monastery. That just means surrendering your heart to a loving God and sending positive energy to the world. That's Franciscan spirituality and global peace. Namaste.